Hey guys, Stevie here with a different kind of video today. So I've been getting back into Dissidia a little bit recently and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. One of the main reasons being because of the new broadcast that happened last week. They added a bunch of things including new icons and stuff we'll never see. But they finally announced the 5th DLC character, and it's a character I kind of really care about because it's my Duodecim main. So today I would like to take a quick overview on Yuna, the new DLC character being added to Dissidia NT. I want to discuss a little bit about how she's implemented into Dissidia NT and how I feel she's going to work in general when it comes to NT's metagame. Now take this as opinion, I am not by no means an expert of Dissidia NT. So if you've got any additional information you would like to add, or if you want to correct me with anything, feel free to throw it in the comments below. But anyway, let's begin. So yes, Yuna is finally in Dissidia NT. I've been waiting for this since the game launched back in January, and pretty much since the game been announced in 2014. Yuna is like my favourite Final Fantasy character in the series. I think she's like well developed writing wise and everything, and also best waifu. But seriously though, like, Yuna was my main back in Duodecim and I really liked the way she played. And the first thing I would like to say, they went with Summoner. Thank God. I was so frightened that they were going to switch her over to Gunner in NT, because I knew that the summon methods of getting all the summons to do different attack wouldn't work in a 3v3 game. So I'm actually really happy to see they still managed to implement the summoner version of her into this game. It's different, but I actually kind of like for the style they went with. So if you're not sure, the way they went with the attacks she's using is actually from her summons, but she's not actually summoning the summons, she's like borrowing the attacks from them. So, and you can even see the glyph from the summon as she's attacking. I thought that was a really nice little touch to add to her. I thought that was really cool. So let's go into a moveset a little bit, shall we? Let's start with Yuna's neutral brave attack, which is Pasado from Mindy. So Pasado looks to be around 3 rings map worth of distance on it, which I believe is 30 meters in game, and looks very similar to Ultimecia's neutrals, and I think this is going to be one of Yuna's best setup tools to set up another player. I think it looks like it charges for around 2, you can keep it going for around 2 to 3 seconds. It's pretty quick, it's quite long distance. We haven't really seen how good the tracking is on it yet, and we haven't seen the tracking in general on any of Yuna's moves really yet, other than Meteor Strike. So it's going to depend on what the tracking is like, on how good this move turns out to be. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty good long range setup option for her, which will be good. Next we have Yuna's forward brave on the ground, which is Rakisaki. I apologise if I mispronounced that, but this is from Yojimbo and is a rave attack. It looks to be again around 30 meters. I don't know, it looked a little bit shorter when it's uncharged, because this move's actually chargeable. Uncharged, it's a straight rave attack that I would probably say is fairly long distance, but I don't know if the charge actually gives extended range. It wasn't really shown. But the charge version actually works like Vayne's back brave on the ground. So it's slow at the start and then it continues forward as a quicker pace after a certain amount of time. And the main thing to notice about this move, it's extremely high. I think it might even be higher than Vayne's back brave. So this is going to be a very good get off me tool, I'm feeling, especially against assassins that prefer the air advantage, because this could really catch out the likes of Zidane or Kuja as they attempt to approach Yuna from the air. So it will be also good for poking in neutral at the beginning of the match and at other stages of the match as well, because it's a fairly long range move. So I think it's going to be a very good sort of keep off me tool in general. And then finally her back brave is Pain from Anima, which is really cool. So another quick thing to add is I really like that they've implemented the other 3 summons in this game where they were ignored in Duodecim. But anyway, back to the move. Pain looks to be around 2 rings range, so around 20 meters, and is your standard search HP. So this spawns from around the opponent, and it looks to take around a second to a second and a half from starting to spawn to hitting the opponent. I would say it's probably around 60 frames start up. So it's just your standard search HP, it's on the ground. This is going to be some more up close trying to snipe people out of Braves, etc. But I feel this is probably one of her tools that might be used a little less. I think search Braves are okay, but are not the best for marksman, personally. Correct me if I'm wrong, but still going to be good for saving people and that. Next we have Aerospark, which is her neutral air brave and is from Ixion. So Aerospark looks to be a lot like cards from Ace. So Ace's neutral brave. Again, we don't know what tracking is like on this move currently. We are getting Yuna is actually releasing arcades tomorrow. So we should see tomorrow some gameplay and finally see what the tracking on these sort of moves are like. But if it's got any sort of decent tracking, this move is going to be really good for setup. Like, it's 3 rings range, so it's really long range. It's the length of Ace's cards. It's 4 hits, the same amount of hits as Ace's cards. And like I said, the only issue I see with this is A, it's limited to the air. So you can't use this on the ground unlike Ace's cards, and B, we don't currently know the tracking, and you'll probably find the tracking is going to be less than Ace's cards, because the tracking on Ace's cards in general are absolutely ridiculous. So this is still, though, this is going to be a really good setup tool from long distance, and it's nice that they've given her a long distance setup tool. She's actually got 2. Because, like I said, Pavado is about the same length, so good to see Yuna having good setup tools in general. So next we have Forward Brave, which is Impulse from Bahamut, and this looks roughly the same as it worked in Duodecim. This is actually the only move that she's kind of kept from Duodecim. It does work differently. It keeps the opponent stationary. It can be charged up to 5 orbs, and then it keeps the opponents stationary. Think Kefta's Thunderga move. So again, yet another setup tool for Yuna. Yuna seems to be having good setup tools in general, so I could see her being good at setup just like Ace. But yeah, spawn 5 orbs, keeps them still for around a second. So this is also going to be very good for interruption again. Sadly though, the only problem is this does look sort of ranged. This only looks to be 2 rings compared to some of her other moves that are 3 rings. So this is one of her 2 rings moves. So this is what, again, will only be able to really be used a little closer up. But it's going to be a good interruption tool and another possible setup option. So. And then finally we have Heavenly Strike, which is her back air brave and is from Siva, obviously. And this looks to be the air version of Pain pretty much. The main difference is that this spawns from above, whereas Pain spawns around. So this moves, I feel, is going to be a little less noticeable, and I think this will be the better of the 2 search braves that Yuna has, because of the fact that it spawns above. This might actually be the first time we have a search HP that spawns above the opponent, I think. So this is very good for the main reason that this is gonna be harder to notice than Pain, I think. So I think that will make it ultimately be better than the 2. Same range as Pain as well, 2 rings or 20 meters. So looking good in general. So I think this will turn out to be the better of the two search moves for Yuna. And then Yuna's stat attack is Meteor Strike from Ifrit, and I think this is going to become Yuna's main Get Off Me tool. It's fairly short. It looked to only be 1 ring or 1.5 rings. Definitely not 2 rings. I would say 1 to 1.5 rings possibly. And the main thing with this is this has really good vertical tracking. Like, the vertical tracking on this looked pretty insane. So I think this could very well become Yuna's main Get Off Me tool for her. It's just a ball in front of you, but like I said, the vertical tracking is what is going to make this move good. So you can hit people coming from below you or above you. I don't know if Rakisaki will be a little better if you're on the ground than Das, but because of the fact you can mind game Rakisaki for a bit, we can't really with this. But this is going to be a very good Get Off Me tool, and this is probably going to become Yuna's main Get Off Me tool in general. And then Yuna's HPs. We've currently seen 2 HPs from her. Her first one is Holy. Looks to be a little bit like Monolith Beam from Ace. Also think of it a little bit like Maelstrom from X-Death. So it's a Tower Search HP. Doesn't move, so it's more like Maelstrom than Monolith Beam. Its range looks pretty long, but not ridiculously long. I'll probably say it's around the same range as Monolith Beam, I want to say. But I think this will be a pretty good HP in general. And finally, we have the HP with no name that was only seen briefly in the trailer. Now, people are saying, and I kind of agree, this looks to be Great Whirl, which was an attack Yuna had in Final Fantasy X-2. And it looks to be a Search Brave that has additional bravery hits before landing. So think of it as a Search version of Turkandine from Ramza, or Invulnerable Will from Vayne. But it's a search rather than being spawned around you. So again, we don't know the range of this currently, so if it's got decent range, then it could become a quite good HP, but if it has short range, then it's not going to be, I think it'll be just average, so we'll have to see. Then finally, we have the most important part about Yuna, her EX skill. So Yuna's EX skill is Val 4. Val 4 gains a stack every 20 seconds before additional hits being done. Because those who are unaware, your EX skills slightly restored when you land a bravery or a HP hit. Something I've only learnt recently myself. And Yuna can stack Val 4 up to 5 times. And Yuna is able to use different attacks with Val 4 depending on the how many stacks he has and what he chooses to use and how he presses EX button. So firstly, we have Sonic Wing, which requires only 1 bar of Val 4 and is triggered when Yuna is doing a bravery or HP attack. And it does a search bravery attack where the opponent's position is. And it also cancels the cooldown animation of your move. So you can use this to cover yourself if you missed your bravery attack or HP attack, to give yourself a bit more time to get away. From looking, it looks like once you trigger it, it takes about 60 frames to be able to perform a action. So it's about a second of recovery from beginning to trigger. And this looks to be general across all Val 4's actions. So I think this will be good for if you riff your bravery attack and you need to make yourself safe. This will be a good option, and also be good to get some additional damage to get a break, possibly. I think this will become a pretty good option. So I think Yuna getting breaks will be a bit easier because of this option, and Yuna can cover herself in a 1-to-1 if she riffs an attack at all. Gives her an additional option. So next we have 2 bravery attacks which both cost 2 stacks of Val 4. The first one is Energy Ray, which is a line AoE on the ground. Think Santolo's Colossal Santolo. her EX skill, and then in the air, Yuna does Energy Blast instead, which is works a little bit like Ace's beam attack, his forward brave. Again, it's about a second between from initially triggering Vault 4 for you to be able to do an action again. But the important thing is you can actually move before Vault 4 performs his attack. So I think these will be really good presser tools, and I think this will be when Yuna will really shine, is in her presser game, because having Yuna throwing bravery attacks at you, and then also having Valfor throwing additional bravery attacks at you, and she could also actually deal with a 2v1 on her own if she really wants to, because she can have Valfor send out one target and then get she can throw bravery at another target. So and this will lead into what I think Yuna's going to be good for the meta in a little bit. So I think these are going to be amazing presser tools. So I wanted to add this quickly because I kind of forgot to add this when I recorded the original video. When Yuna uses any of these two-stack Braves attack and she hits the opponent, she actually gets a buff called Moon Blessing, and what this does is increase the amount of EX she gains from hitting bravery attacks by ×3. So using these attacks is going to be quite vital in order to get your Valfor stacks up even quicker due to this buff. So I just wanted to add this. I forgot to mention it in the original recording. I am so great, ain't I? Anyway, back to your regular scheduling. And then finally, she has 2 abilities on 3 stacks of Valfor. So her first one is called Energy Nova, and is a 45 to 50 meter HP attack. Ouch. This is a lot like Cloud of Darkness's beam HP she can do with her EX skill. 45 to 50 meters. It can travel through walls, so that's interesting. So I believe on maps like Dimensional Rift from Final Fantasy V, if you're in the centre of the stage, you could pretty much hit anyone anywhere on the stage with this HP. This is going to be amazing for saving somebody from a non-distant, or generally sniping somebody or punishing somebody for using a long cooldown from far away. With this attack, the player is going to have to really respect Yuna's range when they're using attacks that have a long cooldown animation. Things like Cloud's Omi Slash, or Sephiroth's Otto Slash, or Vayne's Force of Will, etc. Because if Yuna's targeted on them and she's got 3 bars, she can just punish them at the end with a really long distance Energy Nova, and you're eating HP damage. So it costs a lot, but it's going to be a very good punish tool. And then finally, the most important ability, the most controversial ability of Yuna, the most discussed ability of her, is for 3 bars, she can break out of a melee combo. So, Wing Flap it's called. I don't like the name. Not the best names ever, but yeah, for 3 bars, she can break out of any melee combo. It has a HP level interruption, so it can interrupt HP attacks. It looks to be around a second after she does the attack, and it takes 16 frames to activate from the looks of it. So as long as there's under 16 frames before the HP attack lands, you're interrupting it. So the important things, I don't think Yuna's going to get anything off of this afterwards, because it looks like a standard Brave recovery, so the player can just easily infinite recover out of any additional options. She could use Presser. If she has 5 stacks, she could add additional Presser with a Valfor Brave and then her own Brave. So she could combo it into switching it around so she's the one doing the Presser instead of the opponent. And another important thing is she can use this on guard block stun as well. So she can use this from a guard, so she can use this as an old crap button if she's about to get guard broken. But a lot of people saying it's broken. I don't think so. A, she only gets it once a minute. B, she can't get anything off of it afterwards. C, once you've used it, that's it. D, it won't interrupt any instant HPs or range HPs. It will interrupt them, but I don't think Yuna gets any additional invincibility frames, so she's just going to be instantly hit by it anyway. And it also won't interrupt any HP attack that has invincibility frames, so it won't be interrupting Limit Break, Omni Slash, it won't interrupt it might interrupt Auto Slash actually, because it's got HP interruption, so it will probably interrupt Sephiroth's Auto Slash, but it won't interrupt Ultimate Shield from Warrior of Light, or any HP attack that has any sort of invincibility. It's not going to go through. And also, like I said, any instant HPs won't be interrupted, and any range HPs likely won't get interrupted. Range projectiles like these might get interrupted, it might make the projectile disappear. But what I mean by range HPs is probably more things like Meteor, or trying to think of some others. God, I can't think off the top of my head of range HPs. That's the thing, most range HPs are instants anyway, so, and the very few cases that they aren't instants, I think Yuna would just break out and then instantly get hit by it again anyway. So we'll have to see what happens when Yuna comes out, but I think this isn't broken, purely to the fact that it won't interrupt, and it will only interrupt melee combo attacks, and even then only if they don't have invincibility, which most of the better ones have invincibility anyway. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this one goes when Yuna gets gameplay tomorrow. Finally, let's sort of go over how I feel Yuna is going to fit into the meta game. So I think she's going to be very strong. I think it's nice to finally see a suit that's going to be strong in the meta game, because I think just for the combo breaker alone, Yuna's going to be very demanded in the competitive meta, just for that alone. We haven't really had a shoot challenge the likes of Ace or Terra really since Ace came out, really. Because, and also interestedly, this Yuna's coming out at the same time that the 3 worst suits in the game at the moment are all going to be retrieving buffs themselves. So that would be very interesting. But I think where Yuna is going to shine is in a Rust Down competition. And at the moment, we don't really have a suit that's very good at Rust Down. And I think Yuna could be the character that could support Rust Down very well, for a couple of reasons. A, the presser. She's going to have really good presser off of her Brave attacks, following them up with Valfor attacks, meaning she can mount on presser herself that other suits at the moment aren't really able to do. A lot of the time, the only one that could possibly do that is Emperor, but Emperor relies a lot on his teammates supporting him. And that leads to the second point. Yuna crucially can survive on her own for a little while, which will allow the Vanguard to be more aggressive in a Rust Down competition. The issue with Rust Down at the moment, if you've got Shoot on the team, the second the Shoot is in trouble, this Vanguard has to lay back to help the Shoot. With Yuna, because she has the combo breaker, Yuna can survive on her own for a little bit without needing the Vanguard support, which means Yuna, if she gets herself in a 2-on-1 situation, she has a get off me tool and has an option to get out of that situation. So it leaves the Vanguard can be more aggressive without having to worry about Yuna getting into a situation where she's going to need help from her Vanguard. And I think that will really support the Rust Down meta very well, because of the Vanguard being able to deal with the Rust Down more. because Yuna requires less protection overall than other suits because of that combo break. So I feel that Yuna's going to fit in very well with Rust Down, and I think a Final Fantasy X Yuna team is going to be very scary. So I'm really looking forward to Yuna coming out. I will be releasing loads of Yuna footage when she launches in December in Dissidia NT. She lands in arcades tomorrow. So I might do another video. If you like this little analysis and review, feel free to let me know. And if you want to see me review some gameplay video of Yuna from the arcade when she lands later on today / tomorrow, let me know and I can do some of them over the weekend. So sorry for the half an hour yakking, but I really wanted to sort of break down her moveset in general for people, because I think she's going to be a really interesting character in Dissidia NT, and she's going to be a really interesting suit in general, and I'm really looking forward to see how she shapes up the marksman meta in this game. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want more Dissidia NT videos or some more general videos in general, and I will see you in the next one. See you later, guys.